is Bike World.
We're here at Donington to bring you all the action from the annual World of Kawasaki event.
But first, John Hogan from Superbike magazine heads out to Italy to check out the new Monster 821.
So where better to go for the launch of the new Ducati Monster 821 than the home of Ducati themselves. We're in a valley just outside Bologna, which is where Ducatis are made. I've got my stupid Nicky Hayden spec Ducati Oakley sunnies on. The sun's out. Let's go out and take a ride and see what it's like. So now that we've finished the riding phase of the launch, I thought it would be a great chance to take a Monster, stick it on a paddock stand and talk you through the key points to this new bike. One of the great things about the Monster is it's still essentially a parts bin special. The really cool thing about the 2014 versions is that the parts bins have got so much better than they used to be. So the first thing to mention is this tank. At 17.5 litres, it's 4 litres bigger than the 796 tank. Next up is the seat. Ducati worked quite hard to increase the comfort and the size and space for your ass, for you and your pillion on this bike over the 796. So there's a bigger seat for you and a bigger seat for your pillion. What's quite cool, I think, that Ducati have done, much like some of the other manufacturers, Kawasaki and KTM for example, is they haven't just left a mess underneath this seat cowl for the pillion seat cover. Even without this cowl on, it's still quite a pretty looking back end. The exhaust looks like it's been lifted straight off a Diavel. Those slash cut over and under pipes at the back, and the lovely sweeping sections up the front. It's a really pretty thing. It sounds fantastic as well. Something else that I was really pleased to find today, especially when it was lashing with rain, is the little rubber covers over the foot pegs. Ducati typically steal foot pegs from the Superbike end of their model range. And what that means is you get these metal pegs, which when it's raining and you've got a set of road boots on, they're absolutely useless. The liquid-cooled 821cc V-twin has been pinched straight from the Hypermotard, which is a good thing. The differences between this and the 1200 version is the lack of oil cooler. What one of the engineers told me is this bike doesn't need to rev as high to produce as much power, so there's no need to cool the oil on it. What that means visually is we've lost the oil cooler at the front, so the bike, the profile looks narrow, it doesn't look as clunky, and we've lost that little kind of bikini fairing part that goes down the bottom on the 1200. Sticking with the engine, Ducati have reprofiled the throttle bodies. The ride-by-wire throttle has been redesigned as well, so everything feels smoother. What I found today was that second gear round town speeds, they're nothing like they used to be on a Ducati. You don't have to trail the clutch, you don't have to tap loads of revs in to keep the thing from vibing your teeth out. It's a really, really smooth ride. That's not to say that this bike's gutless. Get it singing in the mid-range and push through up into the top end and it'll happily crack along. 112 horsepower in a 200 kilo bike is never going to be slow. What you might be able to spot in some of the onboard footage from today, especially when it was raining, is I knocked the bike back to urban mode. What that means is loads of traction control, loads of ABS, and the power is capped at 75 horsepower. If you're used to riding multi-mode modern bikes, sports bikes, super nakeds, all that kind of stuff, you'll be quite used to flitting between one power map and another, much as I am. The kind of old school riders out there and the diehards among us all will be moaning about the fact that there's no suspension adjusters on this bike. You can't crack the spanners out and fix bits and pieces to make the bike feel your own. But what it loses in that respect, I think it more than makes up for by way of being able to flick from 75 horsepower when it's lashing with rain back up to the full power kind of sharp end 112 horsepower mode. So one point that Ducati were keen for us to get across is the appeal that this bike should have to the female market, what with the standard seat height being able to drop as low as 785 mils, but you can adjust that same seat back up to 810 mils. If you're even shorter than that, you can buy a lower seat from the accessory pack. If you're even taller than that, you can buy a taller seat from the accessory pack. One thing that Ducati aren't doing badly at the minute, if you look across the range, Diavel, 899 Panigale, the big Panigale, Hypermotard, Multistrada, they all come with fantastic brakes, and the Monster 821 is no exception. Radial mount, Brembo monoblock brakes at the front, sintered pads, multi-mode ABS, all as standard, all fantastic. Another thing that you might notice with this Monster is the battery, which is mounted in the middle of the swing arm down the back. The swing arm, it's interesting to note, is a standard double-sided gravity cast aluminium swing arm rather than the typical single-sided swing arm that you might be used to. What that shorter wheelbase does is it helps with that fantastic feeling of being able to flick from side to side, in town, out of town, slow corners, fast corners. It's really, really good fun to throw this bike about. Surrounding those Panigale style wheels are the new Pirelli Diablo Rosso 2s, developed specifically for the Monster 821. They complement the rest of the bike perfectly. They work well with the suspension, they work well with the brakes, they work well with all of the riding modes. I didn't come here looking to compare the Monster to other bikes in the Ducati range. I came here thinking about bikes like the Triumph Street Triple and the Yamaha MT-09. After spending a full day riding this bike, I'm convinced that it's at least as good as them. The one key point to note is just the price point. It's a little bit rich at 8,995 for this version and a couple of £100 less for the dark version. When you compare that point to the MT-09 and the Street Triple, some people aren't going to want to spend that extra money to get a bike that's just as good as the cheaper bikes. So we're supposed to be talking about this beautiful bike, but there is a massive dog over there. People in the UK sometimes struggle to fully understand what it means to be part of that Ducati family. And you've only got to spend one day in a city like Bologna to understand that regardless of whether your Ducati is new, old, shiny, smashed up, if you've got a Ducati, you're in the Ducatisti. Make sure you check back in with the Bike World team in a couple of weeks' time when Superbike magazine dep head Chris Northover will be back out at Misano for World Ducati Week. That's when you'll get a real chance to understand what I'm waffling on about when I say Ducati family and Ducatisti. It's an absolutely fantastic party. Come back and check it out.
Welcome everybody to the annual World of Kawasaki event. If you're wondering what the queues are for, this is signing up obviously for the track, road and off-road experiences. And if you are in the 10:30 group and you're waiting to get on track, I believe that's the blue and even the gold group.
It was great getting the call from Kawasaki asking us to host this year's World of Kawasaki event. As you can see, it was my job to do the serious stuff and look after the stage. Well, Suzy went off and had some fun.
Right at the back of the paddock, you'll find Get On, a campaign that Kawasaki has supported from the start. And there are loads of riders here today that have brought their wives, family, friends who haven't ridden bikes before. And this is a great place to start and find out what the fuss is all about.
One of the great things about the World of Kawasaki event is that all their star riders are here mucking as well. And serving some coffee, you will see the man currently third in the British Superbike Championship, Mr. James Ellison. James, barista, is that a bit more stressful than your normal day job?
It wasn't until you turned up.
No pressure now. You actually look like you know what you're doing there.
Not really, I've been there for about 20 minutes, but it looks alright, doesn't it?
I'd definitely not drink that if I wanted to get through the day. No, it's good. So how come you're helping out mucking in here?
Well, Express Coffee UK, one of my personal sponsors, have been helping out for a long time now, in BSB for the last 4 years actually. And I just said I'd come down and help out a little bit today and just serve a few of the fans and spectators some coffee. So I'm a massive coffee fan as well, so I'm just waiting for a gap so I can make myself one at the minute.
I literally live off of stuff, so I know what you mean. But what's a day like this like for you? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, a chance to get to meet the fans, make them coffee. It must be a little bit, nice to see them without the pressure of all the racing going on.
Yeah, it is, because we don't really get to chat to the fans at the race weekend because we're always zoned out. We're in our own little space in our head, and we're either at the garage trying to set the bike up, or at hospitality, or with other responsibilities. So it's nice now just to kind of kick back and just chat to people really. And I'm at a race weekend, a bike event without actually having any pressure. I rode here on my ZX10 as well. Bikers Group Kawasaki have given me one for the year. So I rode here from Leicester and I'm getting to take it out on track in a minute. So it's just a good fun day out, to be honest with you, and obviously be part of the Kawasaki family.
Brilliant. Well, listen, we let you get back to it all because there's quite a big queue here, mate, now. So
now as well, so yeah. I don't know where I'm at.
Mine's a mocker with an extra shot, all right?
World of Kawasaki are also giving bikers a chance to get on track here at Donington and put their bikes through their paces. Now, Kevin, Focused Events have organised this, and I understand that over 1,600 bikers have actually registered for this. So what's the queue with today then?
Yeah, hi Suzy. Well, this is the third or fourth year actually that Kawasaki have been running this event. It's got bigger and more exciting every year. Every year they're putting more and more into it. For the last 3 years we ran it at Stowe Circuit at Silverstone, and this year, as you can see, they've significantly upped their game, and the results for Kawasaki, I'm really happy to say, are fantastic. Yeah, over 1,600 people have registered. They've come here today. They're riding on the track with us. We're looking after them on the track. We're putting them out on road demos as well. We've got a fleet of over 20 brand new Kawasaki models. So they get a 30-minute demonstration. They can come here as a Kawasaki Riders Club member. They can get one free session with us on the track, and then after that it's a minimal fee. And it's a very minimal fee to go out and do a track experience with us. We have a fleet of ZX6Rs here as well, so they can ride on those and do one demo lap. It's great to see a manufacturer putting this amount of effort into keeping their customers happy and enjoying the experience of owning, in this case, a Kawasaki motorcycle.
I think what's quite interesting is that you don't have to own a Kawasaki, do you, to get on track today? You can bring any bike.
Yeah, absolutely. There's riders here with Yamahas and Hondas and Suzukis, etc. There's a Ducati, I think, here behind me in the pit lane, and they're coming along and they're enjoying their day out with Kawasaki, and that's great to see. Yeah, absolutely.
Why have Kawasaki put on such an amazing free event?
Well, despite being such an immense global brand, we really care about our customers and what they think of our products. So to put on a day like today gives everybody a chance to experience the Kawasaki community, and we get an opportunity to talk to them and hear what they really think.
Now, you mentioned the word global there. Just how big is Kawasaki?
Kawasaki is massive. We are at the cutting edge of engineering expertise and excellence in so many different industries throughout the world. Motorcycles is actually only 25% of what we do. We want to see everybody leave this event today with a huge smile on their face and to feel as proud about the brand as we feel.
The stunt displays have been really popular here at World of Kawasaki, and wowing the crowds with his original stunts is none other than one of the world's leading stunt riders, Lee Bowers. Lee, you seem pretty nimble. Those somersaults you were doing were just crazy, are you? Do you do a bit of yoga to limber up?
I try and keep as flexible as possible, exercise obviously, keep healthy, eat healthy, but since I was a kid I've always been flexible, being able to do backflips and stuff like that. I just transformed it onto the bike basically. It's like a bit of flatland BMX mixed in with superbikes and a bit of acrobats, and hopefully everyone enjoyed it today.
Yeah, they definitely did. So how did you get into stunting?
I've always loved bikes since an early age, and obviously I went into motocross where most people start, a bit of grass riding, just went further learning in car parks, a few wheelies on the road, I'm being honest, done a few shows here and there, and then just went bigger and bigger, got better and better, but I didn't want to push into the deep end too soon. I wanted to make sure I perfect my tricks and all that before I'd done the show scene, so I'm ready sort of now to go across the world and do shows all over the place.
So your tricks are really cool, but there was one that stood out, the Superman. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's pretty crowd-pleasing trick. I use it for, it's called Sickest Trick. In the competitions and that, we all do one special trick, and I normally pull that one out of the bag because it wows the crowds. It's really good for a photograph as well. Live, it happens a bit quick, but in a photograph, it makes a really good photograph. There's not a lot of people doing it, so I like to use that trick as much as possible, and I like to finish on a trick as well. That's why I use my front flip and my headstand burnout, because it gives a finish to the show as well, rather than just walking and waving at the crowd. I like to have a finishing move.
At Bike World, we've got a ZX6R, and we've been thinking about turning it from a track bike into a stunt bike. So how would we go around that?
Well, there's simple modifications. Tip-over sensor is one of them. Every bike's got a tip-over sensor. When it gets to a certain angle, it cuts the engine. So we just modify that, remove that, put a crash cage on the side, bigger sprocket, maybe a handbrake just to start you off. It's always good to use the foot brake, but a handbrake just opens up a few more tricks. Well,
thank you so much for all your advice. Now, obviously, we've got the ZX6R. Do you think that we could get a little bit of your expertise and help with it?
I think for starters, we need to have a look at the bike, see what modifications we can do, what needs to be done.
Just a few little tweaks and things, just have a bike for a couple of days, tweak over it. Well, obviously we're going to start small. I advise not even doing a wheelie at first. We're just going to do some, we call them zeros, which is U-turns basically on the foot brake, no hands on the handlebars, trying to steer figure of 8. And I'm sure you'll do great. You
don't know what you've let yourself in for.
Well, I know you can ride because I've seen your videos, so...
Looking after the stage gave me the chance to have a chat with a few rather special British Superbike guests.
It's nice to be on a day like today when you're not actually having to focus on the racing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. The Kawasaki World Weekend, it's been building year on year, and it was the first time it's at Donington, but by far the best day so far, weather-wise as well as turnout. So yeah, thank you for everybody for turning out. Brilliant.
You've just cursed it now, it's going to chuck it down. Chris, we mentioned this quite a lot, I get to talk to you about a bit, but this year you're doing blooming well. A lot of people would say, you know, showing a lot of those younger guys how it's done on the Kawasaki.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I'm having a good time. The younger guys are still the ones doing the winning. But no, it's a lot of fun. It's great this year. Got a real good team, really good bike, very fast teammate and a good friend alongside me, James.
James, this year having obviously joined Kawasaki with the GB Moto Lloyd's British team, sitting third in the championship, you must be enjoying 2014 so far, and that's ZX10R.
Yeah, I wasn't until last weekend. It was all going to plan. You know, we've had a podium in every round for the first 6 races, and then yeah, I got took out at Knockhill. Just obviously a bit of an accident from one of the other riders, but it's frustrating just to lose that momentum. Is he here?
Where is he? Where is he? Sure, he's hiding.
But yeah, like I say, we're still mates. So and it happened. I've done it before. I've done it to Chris, you know, and unfortunately it's just one of those things. Racing's all calculated risk, and sometimes we miscalculate.
I imagine there's a lot of banter and camaraderie between you as well, as in who is obviously, you know, going to bring home the points at each round.
Yeah, I mean, it's early on in the season. Like I say, we're just both enjoying it. I'm happy for Chris when he gets a result. And hopefully likewise, you know, he's always there to pat me on the back and there to help each other out. I think when he comes down to it, if we're both fighting for the championship, there might be a few things hidden to the side, but right now it's great, and it's nice to have, you know, a decent fast teammate and somebody who I get on with. We've been teammates back in 2002.
Is it a panorama? So you're more technical than I am. I've never worked out how to do that. I'll get out of the way.
On you.
Oh, that's going to break the camera. Shaky, 79-point lead at the top of the championship. How's it all going? You look very relaxed.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with the turnout here, to be honest. I thought I'm going to update my Twitter account in a minute and show how many of you guys have come to show your support today. It's great.
Proper chuff. Now, at Knockhill, it was nice to see you and Kyo doing battle at the front again, obviously second and a first. Was it nice to see him back on the podium?
No.
To keep it simple, I like that.
No, to be honest with you, you know, from the outside, Knockhill looked like a great weekend, and the first and the second isn't to be sniffed at. But you know, I can honestly say, hand on heart, that was probably the toughest round I've encountered since riding for the Rapid Systems Kawasaki team.
You got to ride some classic Kawasaki's out there today on the parade lap. How do they compare to your bike?
Yeah, they're ever so slightly different. The second one I rode, the Court Bennington bike, it's so much vibration, it's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I'm never ever going to complain about anything with my Superbike ever again. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best thing since sliced bread now.
Kawasaki are launching an exciting new initiative later on this year alongside Bike Safe. We've got Joe here, who is a sergeant biker from the Cumbria Police Force. Joe, firstly, what is Bike Safe?
Bike Safe is a national initiative. It's run throughout the majority of forces in the UK. And basically we aim at bridging the gap between obtaining or holding a licence and going for some additional structured training.
So Mark, what's Kawasaki's involvement with Bike Safe then?
Okay, well what we're doing is we're facilitating the Bike Safe off-road training. So we're utilising our experienced partners, which are based all over the UK, and they will be operating a laid-down syllabus designed by Bike Safe. And obviously in addition to that, customers will get a full day's riding off-road.
So how do you think off-road skills help a road rider?
Well, they're fully transferable skills, and of course you're not going to know what you need until you're off-road, you've learnt them, and you know the situation arises on-road.
When does this initiative start and how can people find out more?
It officially kicks off on the 1st of August. You can find out more today by going to kawasaki-bikesafe.co.uk, and from the 1st of August you'll be able to link from the Bike Safe website itself.
And Joe, finally, this is all about making people safer riders on the roads, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. What we would say is that your confidence and ability as a rider changes throughout your riding experience and with age as well. And it's about building up your skills. You should never stop learning. There's always something else to learn. and off-road riding is just another way to get those extra skills to keep you safe on the road.
I've just been wandering around the paddock and look what I found. It's an Ali from Fast Bikes.
Hi,
Ali, what are you doing here? I'm very good, thank you. Oh, you threw me off there. Not many people ask me that. What are you doing here?
We're here promoting Fast Bikes magazine, offering subscriptions, bargain deals, that sort of thing.
Now, you were in Portimao recently with Bike World on a secret mission. Tell us a little bit about that.
So that's our annual Sports Bike of the Year test, the big test. We have the 8 best bikes in the world, 8 best sports bikes in the world, go head to head, 2 days on track, lots of riding, lots of tyre shredding and lots of petrol burn. So yeah, good times.
Can you give us any idea as to which bike won?
No, you have to wait to read the magazine or indeed watch Bike World in a few weeks' time.
Danny, thanks for that. I really enjoyed my first drifting experience. Now, obviously, could you tell? Could you just see my teeth? Yeah, now, obviously, we're Bike World, so it's all about 2 wheels. But my reasoning is that you play on both 4 wheels and 2 wheels. So what came first, the bike or the car?
The bikes came first, and then I got into drifting, so I stuck with that. But I was also missing the bikes at the same time, so I thought, hey, we'll have a go at both.
I can't believe that you're racing cars one weekend, drifting one weekend, and then you're racing in the No Limits series on your road bike as well.
Yeah, I was literally here a couple of weeks ago racing and picked up a podium twice in 2 races. So yeah, and then it's weird to be back this week. We're in the car. So
what do you prefer, or could you not even pick?
When you're in that car, well, like yourself, you're just smiling from ear to ear the whole time because the amount of power it's got and just doing extreme things in it. So when you're in the car, you're loving that, and then when you hop on the bike, you need to switch to a different world. So I'd say you get more of an adrenaline kick from the cars, to be honest.
Now, you've been out on track today, actually, haven't you, on the ZX-10R? How was that?
Yeah, Kawasaki were good enough to lend me their new ZX-10R road bike. They said take it out and see what you think to it. So I'm used to a ZX6, which I've been racing in the No Limit series. So taking that out was a bit of a different world. It had a lot more power, so again, I'm able to go a bit faster and get my adrenaline kicks.
And also you can get a bit more time out of the tyres. I mean, look at these, I can't believe it. £200 a tyre, and how long were you out there for?
5-10 minutes, and we did a change, didn't we? And then another set lasted, another 5-10 minutes, and that's it. 2 sets, completely gone.
Not make you feel a little bit sick?
No, I love it.
The beauty of being sponsored, isn't it, really?
Yeah, can't complain too much.
Well, thank you so much. And what's next for you?
We're out on the bikes again, Anglesey next weekend, and then the British Drift Championship a couple of weeks after that at Teesside. So make sure you get down and have a look. Yeah,
well, good luck. And do these 2 come everywhere with you? Because I feel like I need 2 hot men on this side.
yeah, we like to have them about as well. So.
Attached. I love it.